What's happening, traders? Welcome back to another video, and welcome back to a US oil chart, which is something very unusual, which you haven't seen on the channel before. I have traded it before. I traded it a couple of years ago, but then I wiped it off my market list because it annoyed me. So it's back on now, and we're just going to have a look at it and see what we can find. And I think we found something, as you could probably see. So after the intro, we'll dive straight in. Okay guys, so diving in, and what you can see is, if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll understand what we're looking at. We're looking at a demand zone. This is on the 30-minute chart, and prices shot out of this zone quite substantially. Now this is the New York session open candle, which has pushed price up, and we've got three large bullish candles out of the zone. This is an interest for me, and basically what we're going to look for is price to come back into the zone. Now I've got several things marked out here. I have a little fair value gap there, which has just been taken out and has actually pushed price up a little bit. I have a second fair value gap right down here. Now this is on the 1-minute chart, and this is the thing that's going to make this trade a little bit more difficult. Now the reason why is, if there was a fair value gap around the middle here, which there once was, then if that was the final gap, we'd be looking for that trade, and then we're on the way up. What we have to do now is be patient to see if we can get this fair value gap taken out. This has already been taken out by this spike down, but it just didn't take out this one. In fact, didn't even tap into it if you're looking at it accurately. So this is still a valid fair value gap. That's a mouthful. So what we're going to do is wait for price to come into the zone, hopefully take out that, and then we can be looking for buys. This is going to be a longer term thing. It may not even set up today. It may set up tomorrow. But I want to jump on here now and look at the analysis because it's quite interesting. We are in a overall upward trend, although we have recently changed the character of the trend here. Okay, so we had new higher highs, new higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, because this didn't close below this low. It did liquidity sweep below it, but it didn't close. It closed here. New higher high, new higher low, new higher high, which makes this a change of character to the downturn. Okay, and then we've had new lower low, new lower high, new lower low, lower high on the short term, and so on. But we've just had a new a double bottom here. You can see these closed equally, and then prices pushed up to make a new higher high, which has therefore changed the trend again, or the character of the trend again, to bullish. So, or potentially, we've also got these big fair value gaps up here and a big supply zone. So, market could potentially come into the zone and then push up. So we're going to keep an eye on this and see what we can get over the next hour or two, or over the next day or two. So let's come back when we have some more information. Okay, just a further look at this oil setup. And we've got a potential trade within a trade here, or at least a trade down to our area. Now we just tapped into the zone and we pushed up. What you can notice here is we've got a 5-minute supply zone. This supply zone is pushed down, broken structure to the left after touching a fair value gap, and it's continued this new downward trend with this new lower low, lower high, lower low. So we're going to wait for price to come into this zone. If we go to the higher time frames, we have a small fair value gap just here, which is right at the bottom of the zone. If we can tap into there, or even a little bit higher into the zone, and then get our entry of a break of a candle low on the 5-minute chart, then we can look for a sell and look to sell into the zone we're looking for price to fill. So let's see how this goes, and we'll come back when we have some more info. Okay, my alert's just gone off to say that we've entered the zone. We've just entered the fair value gap there. So we're going to look for price to come up a little bit more and fill that gap. We haven't filled it yet. We've just tapped in. I'd like price to fill the gap, and then we can look for our potential sell opportunities. So we'll keep watching and come back in a sec. Okay, so we've just filled that gap. Price is now pushing up out of the zone. So that's interesting. Let's see what we can get. I'd like to not think that this was the tap into the zone and the change of now we're pushing up. I would have preferred for price to come down a little bit low, which I still think it might. This still hasn't closed in the zone here. We need to wait to see if our 5-minute candle, although very big, it could close here. Another thing that may happen is that we actually come up to this supply zone at the top. But we're going to wait and see how this one plays out, and then we'll come back if we get some more positive looking news. Okay, so that 5-minute candle did close in the zone there, and I'm actually going to make that a little bit more accurate because it's right at the top of that wick. As you can see, we closed in the zone. We've got 3 minutes left of this candle. Now, if this candle can hover, and then we break this if it closes something like this, which it may do, if it does that and then we break this candle's low, that's a valid entry for me because we've stayed in the zone, and then we can look for a 1-to-1, potentially then managing the trade and looking for price to continue to the downside. So we're still in the trade, or still the setup is still valid, so let's see how that goes. Okay, so I wasn't recording then, but I just did a whole bit of analysis. We have pushed down quite a bit. We haven't broken this candle's low. We've got 20 seconds left on this candle. If we go to the 1 minute, we have closed below this structure point here. So this is new higher high, a new higher low, new higher high. We're still in the zone. This candle can close now, and if it can close here and we pull back into this zone, I'll look for a buy, because then I anticipate price reacting off this fair value gap and then breaking this candle's low here. What have we got? We have just got that break of a candle low. So actually this is an entry. So we're going to take that and we're going to go stop loss above the zone here. Going for our 1-to-1 for starts, which is down to this point here. Like so. And then obviously our target will be this fair value gap down here, because that's what we're looking for price to eventually get to soon. So, or potentially soon. So there we go. We're in the trade. First trade on oil in a long while. Okay. So we'll come back when we have a little bit more action. What we could see now, to be fair, is price push up back into this fair value gap. If we do, I could potentially even look for another entry, which is a slightly lower risk entry, and then price can come down from there. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to put an alert there, because if we do go up there, I may potentially do that, because that still follows all of our rules. So we'll come back in a second. Okay guys, after pushing into profit a little bit, we've just come back into that fair value gap, as I said. So we're going to look to potentially enter another trade here. And in fact, we're going to go for that right now. So we've got a third position on. I put 2 positions on the first one. Second one is running now, and we're going to have our stop loss in the same position. And that's at 748. And again, TP is down here. But for this one, I'm going to put full TP at the mark there, because then we can secure a few more profits. So let's see how this goes. One thing you can see is this is a supply zone. We have supplied the market, so I do anticipate potentially price to push up a little bit more, and then potentially come back down, hopefully. So let's see. Happy with the analysis so far. The only thing that I could say that may cause us an issue was this fair value gap, which had a good reaction, and the fact that we did close above these closures here. But I still feel there's more downside to come, so that's why we are in these trades. So let's see how it goes, and hopefully we can get to our first TP down here. Alright guys, so this area has held up nicely. We've pushed down quite strong from the area, so we're looking good. Hopefully we can break this low now and then create this new lower low, lower high, and a new lower low on this little 1 minute downtrend on the way down to our target. So we'll come back when we have some more info. Okay guys, so price has pushed down quite far. I've actually taken out one of the positions because this area could act as a demand zone. So we are 1 position down. We've got 2 left running. I'm going to manage this trade now quite closely, because yeah, if this area does act as a demand zone, which it kind of is, because we have broken structure and this area has a strong push up, then we're going to need to manage this in due course. But we are still in a downtrend from here, and we've got a fair value gap that price may want to visit. So we'll see how we do, and we'll come back in a minute. Alright then guys, jumping back in, and we've just hit our first TP, so we're going to close that second position out. We've got our third position left in there, left running, and I'm going to put the stop loss for this one at break even. Hopefully now we can come down to take out this fair value gap, and that would be a really nice setup. So looking good, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Okay guys, jumping back into the oil trade, you can see we've punched down, we're down into that zone, heading towards that fair value gap. I have now closed this trade out completely. I do anticipate price to come down here, but just for peace of mind and the fact I'm going out, that other trade has gone. So we had 3 successful trades. The first of the 2 entries from this area, we took one out here, or just above here, and the other one is come out here now. And then the pullback into the fair value gap on the 1 minute, we took that out at first TP and the first target of that trade anyway. So completely done on this this area of the video. What I might do is create a part 2 to this video to see if we can get a reaction, or I may come back later once I come back in and have a look to see where price has gone. I may not necessarily take the buy from this area because I won't be at the computer to look at it, but super stoked with that result. Yeah, so I'm going to leave this clip here, and then I may jump back in with how this looked once I come back later this evening. See you in a bit. Okay, jumping back on the chart, it's 9:10, and just having a look at how it ended up. It ended up very far away from our initial target. This demand zone never held up. We actually closed below the zone, which would make this area invalid. After we took out that fair value gap, if we were at the computer, we'd be looking for an entry, which we never got. So we would have, after this candle here, we would have been looking for a break of a candle high. So waiting for potentially this candle to break above this high. Didn't happen, didn't happen, didn't happen, and then we closed solidly below the zone, making it invalid, and so we wouldn't have been looking for buys anyway. So really nice day trading oil. It's going to stay on the watch list, and they're going to keep an eye on it as a regular thing now. And that's that, really. So if you enjoyed the video and you found something good or interesting about it, please give it a like. Please think about subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.